Bryant, can I say something?
Of course.
You are really easy to talk to. Like, every conversation with you feels so natural and comfortable.
Oh, that is really kind of you to say. That genuinely made me smile. Thank you, Jessica.
See, that is exactly what I want to talk about today. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk English Freely. I am Jessica, and this is Brian, and we are so happy you are here with us today.
Wonderful to have you.
Today, we are talking about giving and receiving compliments in English. Compliments are such a natural part of everyday conversation, but a lot of English learners feel unsure about how to give them naturally or how to respond without feeling awkward. So today, we are going to cover all of that together with lots of real phrases you can start using right away. If you enjoy our conversations, please subscribe and give us a like. It really helps us so much.
It truly means a lot to us. Now, let us get into it.
Okay, Brian, let's start with the basics. What is a compliment exactly, and why are they so important in English communication?
A compliment is when you say something positive about another person. It could be about their appearance, their work, their personality, or something they did. In English-speaking cultures, giving compliments is a really common and natural way to connect with people. It builds warmth, shows appreciation, and makes conversations feel more friendly and genuine.
Right. And in English, compliments are used much more frequently than in some other cultures. Native speakers give compliments to friends, colleagues, even strangers. Saying, "I love your jacket" to someone you just met is completely normal in many English-speaking countries. So for learners who come from cultures where this is less common, it can take some getting used to.
That cultural difference is really important to understand. In some cultures, giving too many compliments might feel insincere or over the top. But in American and British English especially, compliments are a genuine form of social bonding. When someone compliments you, they are usually expressing real appreciation.
So true. Brian, what are the most common things people compliment each other on in English?
Appearance is probably the most frequent. Things like, "You look great today," "I love your hair," or "That color really suits you." Then there are compliments about work or skills. "You did an amazing job on that presentation," or "You are so talented at this." And personality compliments are really meaningful too. "You are such a thoughtful person," or "You always know the right thing to say."
Right. And compliments about someone's home or cooking are really common in social situations. If you go to someone's house for dinner, saying "This is absolutely delicious" or "Your home is beautiful" is a natural and warm thing to do. It makes the host feel appreciated and valued.
And in a work context, complimenting a colleague's effort is really good for team morale. Something like, "You worked so hard on this, and it really shows," goes a long way. People remember when they feel genuinely appreciated.
For sure. Brian, let's talk about how to give a good compliment, because there is a difference between a compliment that lands well and one that feels a little off.
A good compliment is specific. "You did a great job" is nice. But "the way you handled that difficult question in the meeting was really impressive" is much more powerful. Specific compliments show that you were actually paying attention. They feel more genuine and more personal.
Exactly right. And the timing matters too. Giving a compliment right after something happens feels natural and spontaneous. If someone gives a great presentation and you wait 3 days to mention it, it loses some of its impact. In the moment is almost always best.
And sincerity is everything. A compliment that you do not really mean can actually feel worse than no compliment at all. People can usually sense when praise is hollow or given out of obligation, so only give compliments you genuinely feel.
Right. And Brian, how do you actually start a compliment in English? What are the most natural openings?
There are quite a few really useful openers. "I really love" is warm and enthusiastic. "I really love how you organized this. You are so good at" highlights a skill. "You are so good at making everyone feel welcome. That was really impressive" works well after someone does something notable. And "I have to say" is a great natural lead-in. I have to say, you handled that really well. I also really like what I love about your work is, it is direct, specific, and shows genuine engagement. It is the kind of compliment that sticks with people.
It really is. Now, Brian, let's talk about the other side. How do you respond when someone gives you a compliment? Because this is something a lot of people find really uncomfortable.
It is surprisingly hard for many people. There is a tendency to deflect or dismiss compliments. Someone says, "You did a great job," and the response is, "Oh, it was nothing," or "Anyone could have done it." That actually makes the person who gave the compliment feel a little awkward. It is like rejecting their kindness.
Right. And in English-speaking cultures, deflecting a compliment too strongly can come across as false modesty. The most natural and gracious response is simply to accept it with a thank you. "Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me," is warm and genuine. "Thank you. I worked really hard on it." Accepts the compliment and adds a little context without being boastful.
And you can also pass a compliment back if it feels natural. "Thank you. I could not have done it without your support." Acknowledges the other person's contribution. Or simply, "Thank you. That is so kind of you to say," is always perfectly appropriate. It is gracious, warm, and keeps the conversation flowing.
I love that one. Brian, what about compliments in professional settings? Are there any differences compared to casual situations?
In professional settings, compliments tend to be a little more measured. You want to be genuine, but also appropriate. Complimenting a colleague's work is always safe and valued. "Your analysis in that report was really thorough and insightful," is professional and specific. Personality compliments are also fine. "You are such a calm presence in stressful situations." It really helps the whole team.
Right. And complimenting someone's professional growth is really meaningful. Something like, "I have noticed how much you have developed in this role. It is really impressive." Shows that you see the person's effort over time. That kind of recognition is incredibly motivating.
Absolutely. Everyone wants to feel seen and appreciated at work. A genuine compliment from a colleague or manager can be incredibly motivating. It costs nothing but means a great deal.
So true. And Brian, are there any compliments people should be careful about?
Yes, context matters a lot. Compliments about appearance can be wonderful in the right setting, but in a professional context, commenting on someone's physical appearance can sometimes feel inappropriate. Stick to work-related compliments with colleagues you do not know well, and always make sure your compliment is about the person, not just how they look.
Right. And avoid compliments that come with a hidden comparison or criticism. Something like, "You are so much better at this," than your colleague might seem like a compliment, but it is actually quite uncomfortable. A clean, simple compliment with no comparison attached is always the most powerful.
Great point. Compliments should lift people up without putting anyone else down. Keep them positive, specific, and sincere. That is the formula for a compliment that truly lands.
Beautifully said. And Brian, what about complimenting someone's English? That is a situation English learners might find themselves in or be on the receiving end of.
That is such a relevant one for our listeners. If someone says, "Your English is really good," to you, it is completely natural to say, "Thank you so much. I have been working really hard at it." Or, "Thank you. I still have a lot to learn, but I appreciate that." Both are gracious and genuine.
And if you want to compliment someone else's English learning effort, you can say, "Your English has improved so much. I am really impressed," or "You express yourself so clearly, it is wonderful." Those kinds of compliments are incredibly encouraging for language learners. They acknowledge effort, not just ability, which is much more meaningful.
Right. Effort-based compliments are some of the most powerful of all. "You work so hard," or "You never give up." And it shows, recognize a person's character. Those stay with people for a long time.
Brian, I also want to talk about compliments between friends, because the way you compliment a close friend is very different from how you would compliment a colleague or a stranger.
With close friends, compliments tend to be more casual and playful. You might say, I not believe how good you are at this. It is honestly annoying. That kind of teasing compliment is very common between close friends.
It is honestly annoying how talented you are is such an affectionate thing to say. It shows intimacy and humor, and friends often respond with humor too. I know, I am incredible.
Right. The tone completely changes depending on the relationship. Reading it is just as important as knowing the right words.
So true. And Brian, what about complimenting someone's home or cooking when you visit? That is a really common social situation.
When you visit someone's home, noticing something specific and complimenting it feels very natural. Your home is so warm and cozy. I love how you have decorated it is much more meaningful than just nice place. And with food, being specific is key. This sauce has such an amazing depth of flavor. What did you put in it? Shows genuine appreciation and curiosity. Invites conversation too, which the host will love.
And always compliment the effort, not just the result. I can tell you put so much love into this meal means more than just saying the food tastes good.
People want to feel that their effort is seen, not just the outcome. That applies to cooking, work, projects, everything.
And Brian, one more situation I want to cover. What about receiving a compliment about something you worked really hard on? Like a project or a creative piece?
That is a situation where people sometimes undersell themselves. Someone says, "This is incredible work," and the response is, "Oh, it is not that good really." That is such a missed opportunity. A better response is, "Thank you so much. This project meant a lot to me, and I put everything into it. I am really glad it came through." That is honest, confident, and gracious all at once.
Owning your hard work is not arrogance, it is confidence. And when you brush off a compliment, the other person can feel like their judgment was wrong. Accepting it graciously says you are right, and thank you for noticing.
That is such a great way to think about it. Accepting a compliment well is actually a gift to the other person. It completes the exchange and makes both people feel good.
Perfectly said. And I think the biggest takeaway from today is that giving and receiving compliments well is a real skill. It is not just about the words. It is about being genuinely present, paying attention, and being brave enough to express appreciation out loud. In any language, that is a beautiful thing.
Well said, Jessica. The world would be a much warmer place if people expressed appreciation more freely. And in English, you now have all the phrases you need to do exactly that.
Brian, let's also talk about complimenting strangers. In some cultures, this feels very awkward or even inappropriate, but in English-speaking countries, it is actually quite common.
It is, especially in the United States. Complimenting a stranger on their outfit, their dog, or even their laugh is completely normal. It is a quick, friendly way to create a moment of human connection with someone you have never met. The key is to keep it brief, warm, and move on naturally. "Love your bag" is so stylish, and then a smile is all you need.
Right. You are not starting a deep conversation, just sharing a moment of appreciation. And the response is usually a big smile and a thank you. It can genuinely brighten someone's whole day. I once had a stranger tell me she loved my earrings, and I thought about it for the rest of the week.
Small moments of kindness have a surprisingly big impact, and it takes a lot of courage to compliment a stranger. So when you do it, you are not just being kind to them. You are also practicing being more open and expressive in English, which is great for your confidence overall.
Every time you step outside your comfort zone in English, even just complimenting a stranger, it builds your confidence. And most people are genuinely happy to receive a kind word. It costs you nothing and could mean the world to them.
Absolutely. Kindness expressed in any language is powerful, but in English, knowing exactly how to express it makes it even more meaningful.
And that is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We hope today's conversation gave you lots of new phrases and the confidence to start giving more genuine compliments in English.
A sincere compliment can completely change someone's day. It costs nothing and means everything.
We would love to hear from you. What is the best compliment you have ever received? Leave a comment below and share it with us.
And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please give us a like and subscribe to Talk English Freely. It really helps us reach more learners around the world.
See you next time. Bye.